morning, stitchy friends, or maybe it's good afternoon or good evening for you, wherever you are. I'm here with another little update. This time it's going to be a little bit random because I am sort of on the go at the moment. So to sit down for a full 30 minutes or an hour is going to be a bit much for me right now. So I thought I would just do some recordings and then I can update you on everything I've done or haven't done. So this is called Riverwalk Charm and it's by Heaven and Earth Designs. And I'm doing this on 25 count. I used to do it on as a 2/1 10 stitch, but I have since converted to 1/1 full cross, which I find I have gotten used to, and I have found a practical way of it to work for me, where I don't feel overwhelmed by all the little bitty stitches and the little gaps. And on my last video that I showed you, I had this area here to fill in. I've done a little bit more since then, and I've come over to this side. Now, all this area up here has been 2/1 10, and I've started doing the 1/1 full cross here, just in this area. And I think, I don't know whether it's the way the colours are showing, but I feel like I can see a little bit of a line somewhere up here. But I can also see marks. I think that might also be interfering with it. I can see marks where the nudge hoop that I was using before has squished the stitches. See those lines? They're kind of weird looking, sort of glossy or something. I think it's just because the light hits the stitches differently when they're pressed down or when they're moved a little bit, so the light's hitting them differently. But over here I'm doing the 1/1 full cross, so I've gone back up here and done a few crosses over my 10 stitches just to kind of try and start blending in. I think for me personally, even if there is a slight difference there, I don't think it's going to matter once it's up on the wall. It's such a big chart anyway. And look, when you pull back, and I'm still very close to it, still very close. So you would look at this on a wall way back here or even more. You would never, ever, ever, ever tell if there was any changes in crosses or half stitches. You just can't see them. The stitches are just too small. So yeah, I'm totally happy anyway. And I'll continue blending some more in around the edges, just to sort of help it transition a bit into the full crosses. So basically what I've got here is the start of more buildings down this side. And this section here is going to be white, or 3/8. I don't know if it's exactly white. I think it's definitely not white. It's more of an off-white. So 3866. Let me see if I can get it out of my bobbin box. Yeah, 3866 is definitely not white. That is some kind of ecru or off-white cream color. And this whole area has to be done in that, which is a bit of a pain for my eyes, but I'm trying to do it in rows so that I don't make mistakes, and that will just make it a little bit easier. So I thought what I was going to do initially was come down here, actually from this side, and do a page. But then I thought, do you know what? I just want to do whatever it is I want to do. I always fall back to this. Just do what you want kind of thing, and don't try to, set rules and things like that. Found myself just naturally going with the stitches, and this is the way they naturally ended up, because all these colors flowed into the next square, and then those colors flowed into the next square. So basically all we've got here is 3811, I think. This one here, 3811, and the 3866, all the way around this area. So that'll be the end of the sky. So the sky sort of ends there, and then we just join up with these buildings that are sort of coming down this way. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And today being Friday, I've got some stuff to do outside, and then I will come back and I will probably do a bit more. I also want to do some stitching on my Gracious era. I'll pop a picture up because I don't have it beside me at the moment. I haven't touched that one yet, but I do want to keep up, keep up the progress on the kits, because I know that if I put them away, that will be the end of it. If I put them away, they're not going to get done. So I just want to get some stuff done. And I've got my sidekick here with me. She's always beside my bobbin box. She never fails to keep me company when I'm stitching. Let's just see if I can show you here. There she is. The fluff bomb. You're just a fluff bomb, aren't you? So I'll just give you a quick look at my setup here. I am using the 17 by 11 inch, I think it is. Q-snap. I have it hoisted on this contraption called an extension bar. As you can see, it's held on by the clamp, and if I sit a bit further back, you can see how I've got this hooked onto the clamp itself. And it's really easy and simple. And this just holds my tablet in place. I will be working on this again, I'm sure, because I am absolutely so into it at the moment. I'm happy to get the progress that I'm getting, that I'm clearly, just running with that feeling of, yay, I'm really getting progress and I want to keep on working on it. But of course, then the more I do that, the less time I've got for other things, for the other whips. But it's Friday, and it's the kind of day where you should do what it is you want to do, because, yeah, that's the way it should flow over the weekend. So I'll come back later, and if I've got any more progress, I will come back and let you know. And today is Saturday. I've just been out and about, and I have now come back and had a bit of a rest. And I wanted to show you this new project, which I was talking about recently, which is called Castle, and it's on 32 count. And I have never, ever used anything this small before in my life. And I never thought I would, but never say never. You just don't know what's around the corner. So with a good pair of glasses and a little bit of confidence, it can all go a long way. So I've managed to dig out a piece of 32 count that I had purchased, and this is where we are at. So I started on the top left corner and working in half stitches with one strand all the way along. Again, some people ask me how I end my thread, and I bring it through to the front and I just chop it a little bit. Haven't had a problem with that so far. If I feel like it's not secure enough, I'll try and do a teeny weeny pin stitch. If I feel like it is secure, I'll just snip it. But so far so good, and I think the grid helps me a lot here. I would have preferably gone with the 32 count that's already gridded, but I've got the piece, it's big enough, and it's not difficult to draw a little grid on, as long as you check and double check that you've actually drawn it correctly, then we're fine. So I think I'm going to do a little bit on this one today, Saturday, and see where we get to. I'll come back in a little bit and show you. I wanted to show you also my setup here that I'm using for this one, because it is so teeny tiny that I actually feel more comfortable using a magnifier. So this is the one which I wasn't able to show because I didn't have it beside me when I was doing the video, and I couldn't find straight away where I'd put it down. So yeah, it was in my drawer in my desk. So here it is, just clipped onto my hoop really. And what I do is I then move this over, and as you can see, I don't think it magnifies on the camera, does it? No, I can't see the magnification through the camera, but it does. It really makes it hugely bigger when you're peering. Can you see? Can that be seen through there? No, it still looks tiny, but it actually does magnify it considerably. And I can just move it a little bit to the right, sorry. If I want a bit more space this side, I can move it out of the way if I don't want to use it. I think this is just really handy. I mean, easy to adjust. What else do you need? And basically, as I said, you can get these in many different places. You can probably find it on Amazon. This one does, I can't remember where I bought this one from, but it doesn't seem to have a brand mark on it. I can't really see anything. So it could possibly be that I got it in a shop some point years ago, stuck it in a drawer, never really used it, and threw the box away, as you do. But yeah, this is what I'm using for this chart. Now, I don't think I'm going to be doing 32 count, or I'm not a 32 count convert. I'm not going to be using 32 count for all of my whips or future whips or anything like that, because I feel like it would just be a bit too much. I do want to actually stitch on things that I can actually see naturally, or at least with my readers. Otherwise, I'll just feel like too incapacitated with everything. I don't want to feel too incapacitated. So yeah, I'm going to just, this was just like really an experiment, and I'm happy with it. So I'm continuing with the stitching on it. I also chose this chart specifically because it looked like a painting, so there's lots of block areas. It doesn't look like it's particularly bad for confetti, as some other charts really are, like the shelves and stuff like that. I have reached 1,600 stitches on this, and I'm at 1.3%, which is okay because I've just done a little bit here and a little bit there, not much else. And I'm going to carry on now and do a little bit more, so I'll catch up with you again. See you soon. Hi everyone. So now we're going to fast forward 3 days. It is Tuesday, 29th of April, and I have got a considerable amount of progress on this Riverwalk charm. I'm really pleased with what I've got done in the last couple of days. So I have done a lot of the sky here, filled in most of this area with the 3866 colour, and got most of this one done. Really love the purple colours that are coming out here on this roof, and really love that I've been able to fill in all this area along here. So I was saying in one of the previous videos that I was picking up a symbol at the beginning and working down and picking the next symbol. Well, I haven't been doing that at all, have I? No. What have I been doing? So I have been just picking up little areas like this and here, and just filling in and going down, maybe coming back down here and doing a little bit more of the white here, because I feel like I don't have to be stuck in one place if I do that. And as long as I don't go down too far and get too silly with it, I feel like I'm on safe ground. So I kind of visually see that this is as far as I've gone in terms of cross country. So I've got all this to fill in before I go any further down over here. But I don't know, because I'm thinking I could kind of work in sort of like people do, sort of in a diagonal way, working, say, going down here and then branching out, going back up and branching out. And then the whole thing just kind of slowly shifts diagonally to the right. That's one way of looking at it. Or just continuing to move along and keep coming down. I don't know, to be honest. I haven't made up my mind. I don't know if that's something I would stick to. I feel like I'm kind of enjoying the whole just do what I feel like, go where I feel like kind of method. Do what I feel like, go where I feel like method. That's an actual method, isn't it? If it isn't, I've just invented it, and I think it's great. So the do what you like method and go where you like method is really pretty simple. This doesn't need any explanations. It is just, as it says on the tin, just go where you like. So I'm going to keep on doing that, I think. I don't know, sometimes I just wake up the next day and I think, what do I feel like doing now? Which way do I feel like going now? I can't seem to make up my mind. Anyway, great progress on this one. So we are now at 53.7%. So we are coming close to 54%, which is fantastic, because I only just hit the 50% by the end of last year, and I wanted to get to 60% this year. But I think I'm probably going to end up doing that way sooner if I continue at this rate. Although a lot of my other whips have kind of suffered. I've had to put a lot of them away to be able to get the progress on this, because I want to get something actually moving and out of the bottom of my list of things that I started years and years ago. I did manage to get a little bit done on Gracious Era, and I'm going to show that to you as soon as I finish this one. So, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about what I plan to do in May. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, so here we have a view of Gracious Era by dimensions. And I think the last time we spoke, I was showing you that I had worked on these two ladies here. And I've managed to get a lot more done on this window. A lot of these oranges filled in, a lot of the light yellows filled in, and trying to leave myself a nice big area spread out that only has one colour. But these stitches are 3 colours. They're just, sorry, not 3 colours, 3 strands per stitch. So that's quite a lot actually, but I think it's a 16 count, so it's not too small and it doesn't get that bulky. So my plan was to finish this area and go up and right. So I'm pleased with that progress. I think they're looking fantastic. I really think it helps to do a bit of backstitch as you go, because it then, if you can do it, it then feels a lot less daunting. I think I also finished this area down here. There was a bit to do down the bottom. So it's very sort of elegant piece and it's got a lot of depth. I really appreciate when you can see the depth of buildings, so they sort of run like that, where you can see them slanted and at an angle. I think it always looks pretty cool in a cross stitch pattern. So yes, I am looking forward to getting back to this one whenever I do. Now, April was the month for me where I said I was going to focus on my kits, and I did for the most part. I've kind of got back to my full coverage in the last few days because I kind of got a bit tired of just doing the kits. But I'm not going to do another month of just let's do kits, because I want to get more work done, as I said, on my Riverwalk charm, which is the one that is my focus piece anyway. So it makes sense to just, focus on it and not be distracted by everything else. But I am not able to do anything monogamously any longer. So I have to contend with swapping things around a little bit. So what I plan to do is bring out this one and my London piece, which are the 2 oldest pieces I have in kit form. I'm going to bring out those 2 every alternate Sunday. So one Sunday I'm going to spend an afternoon on this one, and the next afternoon I'm going to spend on London. And I think bit by bit, by the time we get to the end of the year, you'll see not a huge amount of progress, but there will be progress, which is what I really want more than anything. Not that I have to want to finish it or anything anytime soon. I just wanted to keep ticking along. And then I will, once they are done, I will get around to doing the same with the other 2 kits that I was talking about in my last video, which was Winter Evening by Merezhka and Westminster by, I think it's a Maya kit. So yes, that's what we've got going on. I wanted to say something else about this piece. Oh yes, I did bring this one out on Sunday and I worked on it for most of the afternoon, which is how I got all these colours in here. So this Sunday, I won't be working on it. I'm going to be bringing out London and I'm going to be working on that. So I'll be able to come back and show you the progress on the London. And then the following week, I'll bring out this one. And I think that leaves me enough space in between them that I don't get fed up. And also I can continue with my full coverage during the week. I think that's probably going to work for me at the moment. I can't say 100%. I think that'll probably work. And I'm looking forward to going over to this side as well and doing the horses, because I'm not looking forward to the bit that has this tree, and because most of the tree I think is made up of backstitch, but I think I'm just going to bash that out one afternoon, say one Sunday afternoon, just get the whole thing done. I think that's probably the best way to look at it. So yes, pleased with that. And so let's move on to the next one that I was working on, which is called Castle. Right, so here is my progress on Castle. Is it Jose Eda Rosa, something like that? Eda Jose Rosa. And it's by Stitches So Beautiful. The design, it's 400 by 400 stitches, and this is the one that I'm doing on 32 count, and obviously with the magnifier. And I've come into working this section here, and all these beautiful green colors, and they're sort of now going in, sort of blending into lighter silver colors. This is a beautiful colored chart. I can't wait to get further ahead with this one. I really do. Although it is a little bit of a, having to get the magnifier out every time. So it's not one that I'm going to be doing daily, possibly not even weekly. But I have enjoyed what I've got done this week so far. Let's see. I think in my last video I said I was at 1.3%, and I think I must have made a mistake because my pattern keeper is now saying that I'm at 1.24%. And this is after the last bit of progress I was showing you. So I must have made a mistake previously. Currently, this is correct that I'm currently at 1.24%. And I've done 1,987 stitches. Gosh, you think I could have done the last few more, didn't you, to reach a 2,000? But no, out of 160,000. So, yeah, it's not a smallish chart, but it's not a huge chart either. So that's where I've got to with Castle, and I really want to get a bit more done. I don't know how I'm going to fit this one into my rotation. I haven't really figured out I haven't really got a slot. I don't do like spin wheels or anything like that. I know that I want to bring out Riverwalk charm nearly every day, if not every day, every other day. So I think in between Riverwalk charm, if I get a spot of time, half an hour or so, then I can bring this one out and just continue. I'm thinking of continuing all the way along the top to the end and then coming back and starting from here and going along. I think this is the way that I think her floss tube channel is Max Color Stitches. I think her name is Anne. She's got some wonderful Max Color large pieces that she's working on, and I like her consistency. She always works on them the same way. She doesn't change, unlike me, whereas I'm all over the place, a bit like my life, all over the place. And she sort of starts in a 10 by 10 block working down, and then she goes along to the end and she comes back and does the next 10 by 10 block, but sort of very loosely, not strictly 10 by 10. She does sort of feather and cross country a bit going down, and then all again to the end. So that is one way of doing it. The other way is just stopping at the halfway point, maybe, which I think is about here. That's about halfway in the chart, so it's not that small, is it? And this is like smaller stitches as well, so you can imagine how big it would be on something like 16 or 18 count. And just keep going down with half the size. But I think I'm going to prefer, even if it's going to take longer to actually get to the castle bit, I think I'm going to prefer to go all the way to the end. And just, get all the top bit done and keep going down. That's what I think. I don't know. Like I said, I changed my mind like the weather, especially the Scottish weather, which, you get 4 seasons in a day. Now we've got some sun when it really looked really grey and miserable about half an hour ago. And now it looks like we're in the middle of June. So you just never really know what's going to happen with this weather. So there's Castle. And so that is my stitching for April, more or less. I think for the next couple of days, I am going to continue with this huge beast of a chart and see how much more I can get coming down. So as I said, I'm going to continue with this one in May, if not every day, every other day. So every 2 days. If I haven't touched it in 2 days, I need to bring it out. Oh yes, I did figure out that I could finish this chart if I was to do, let's say in 18 months, I could finish this chart if I did 350 stitches a day. However, I don't think it is doable, but I don't think I'd get time for stitching much on anything else. And secondly, I think that it would be, I don't know, quite a slog to have to keep it up consistently, especially when you get days when you're sick and you get days when you can't stitch at all. And I've had those days when I'm busy doing, family stuff. And then you come back and you think, oh God, now I have to do like 1,000 stitches just to catch up, and then the extra 300 of that particular day. So I don't really think things like that are going to work. They sound great in theory, but in practice, they're not really practical. I think I will just very loosely go with what I said I was going to do, which is bring it out nearly every day. Nearly every day, that's it. I'm just going to keep it to that and try to get to the 60%, which would be fantastic. And then other charts that I've got, if I fancy doing something, picking out one of my older charts or other charts that I have in my stash, I would do that as well, because I'm not going to just say no, I'm not going to do anything. I'm still kind of working on my owl chart, which was a gift from my husband, and I think I was talking about it being a secret, but it's not actually a secret. I'm going to put a picture up of it here. So I started this one. On 2/1 stitch, and now I'm deciding to change to 1/1 full cross. But I'm going to keep doing the 2/1 stitch on the background, and I'm just going to do the full cross on the actual owl, and possibly the thing that he's standing on. That's one way of looking at it. I haven't really touched anything else, so I've still got my Happy Village piece, which is sort of paused. I still would like to get back to my astrology cat at some point and finish it. Don't know when that's going to happen. I also want to get back to my butterfly ornament by Jenna Della Grottaglia. I'd like to get that one's actually only got 35,000 stitches left to do. I would like to get that done, but I don't think that's going to happen this year. I've also got one called Paris Romance by Artsy, and I'd like to get that one. And also my Tree of Life. So, yeah. Am I going to get all this stuff done? Nope, I'm not, but hey. We can only do what we can, right? One thing at a time. I'm really focusing on this one at the moment. So once this one's out of the picture, I'll have all that much extra time just to get to the others. But what I do want to show you, after just telling you that I don't have time to do any of the stitching, is two charts that I was looking at. I was looking at more than two. I was looking at about 100 of them. But you know what we're like. But I'm usually very sensible about that sort of thing. And I've got cottages in my head at the moment, and I'm seeing cottages and really liking them. And then up pops a cottage from Thomas Kincaid onto the Haid group, which Michelle posted and said would be made available. And of course I went off to have a look and see, and realized that it's 800 stitches by 500 or something. And then I was just like, I don't think so, because that is like way bigger than this one that I'm doing right now. So I know the work that's involved. Trust me, the hours and hours that it takes to get anywhere. So I am going to be very, very extremely picky about any large charts that I do in future. I have always had my eye on the Stitching Shelf by Amy Stewart, but I don't want to start it and then get like, a quarter of the way through and think, why did I start this? Blah, blah, blah. I have to really be so passionate about something and still want to be doing it after a year of thinking about it, at least, before I'm going to attempt starting anything that's huge again. I've still got my Sewing Lady as well. I forgot that one, which again is on pause, and I do want to get back to it because I like it and it's still in the running. But I picked out two charts which I had to get because I just liked them, and I thought Artsy had a sale, and I find it hard to choose cottages. Anyway, the one which is by Thomas Kincaid, that's I mean, it's beautiful, but it's just going to take too long for me. If I was 30 years old, I might think about it, but I'm not. So, yeah. But I didn't get this one, which I really like the look of. I thought that was so pretty. And I do have an appreciation for these type of charts with cottages and that are more surreal and more vibrant, and obviously heavily infected with saturated, vibrant colours. But I also appreciate subtle colours, which are more geared towards realism. Now, this is really also is not geared towards realism, because you're never going to get lighting like that in reality that's that vibrant. But it's not fantasy-like, if you know what I mean. It hasn't got like those huge saturated pinks and purples and blues and greens and yellows. So it's somewhere in between the hugely saturated, vibrant, artistic, fantasy ones and the sort of more mellow, semi-realistic. I like the reflections in the water. I always like reflections on the water. My Aurora cabin, actually, will point to it with the camera. It's just up there next to the mirror. A bit too far away for you to see. Yeah, oh, just focus now. There it is. That one was finished a few years ago, and I love the reflections of that on the lake. So you can see my appreciation for this one with all the lovely colours. And I love just like the sun just coming down. I love thatched roof cottages as well. And I really, really love the Tudor style architecture because I have a huge appreciation for architecture and buildings. And I recognize these Tudor designs from the Tudor period, 16th century. So, and I love the blue door. So I would happily live there, carrying my lovely stash of needlework purchases into that blue door and sit somewhere in here, or maybe here, just looking across the lake. And I don't know, maybe my husband can go into this one where he can do his gaming, because I think all his cables and everything are just going to spoil the atmosphere in my place. So he can go in here with all his Xbox and PlayStation or whatever he's got. And yeah, we'd be very happy. We can come out and enjoy a swim together every so often. See, I've got it all sorted out. And so I'm not saying I'm going to be starting this one anytime soon, or even if I will start it at all, but tell me what you think. Do you think it's lovely enough to start? It's 300 by 227 stitches. So if I was to start it, it would probably be, once I've got the Riverwalk charm to about 70-80%, and then I might think about it. And the other one I got, because I do like the colours, and again, it's a totally different vibe. It's got the unrealistic tones, is Rialto Bridge now. I believe I've been to Rialto Bridge in Venice. And look at the blues. There's something about blues and yellows at the moment that's just killing me. And I've seen this one stitched up and it looks absolutely beautiful. And again, I'm appreciating depth and the way you can look way ahead into the picture. I really like that. That's something that appeals to me. And the moody sky, all the blues, and I love the injection of a bit of pink in there and purple. And there's some guy up here, don't know what he's doing, playing a violin or something. It's just, I like the mood and I like the colours of this. And the composition is pretty sweet as well. It's a little guy in a gondola. So it's as if you were just standing there and you took a picture and then you added all these beautiful colours. It's like a piece of art to me, really. So tell me which you like best out of these two, because I think they're both pretty lovely. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just going a little bit crazy thinking about starting another one. I really shouldn't. So anyway, that is what we have. And oh yes, I've got some more needle minders up in my shop. So if you like needle minders, you can go and take a look. This is one that's available for sale. It's up in the shop and it's very sparkly, as you can see. I've also, the nature collection that I had up, completely gone, went straight away. There was another few that I just put up, all gone. They're just gone so quickly. So if you really want any needle minders, you have to go and get them quickly because they just go. The nice ones just go. I think that's everything for now. So I'm looking forward to coming back again. Also, let me know if you like this kind of style of filming where I just come back and talk to you a little bit about my updates and progress, rather than just do one big long video. Maybe you just like, you just don't mind and you're okay with whatever format it is. I just kind of found it a bit easier this week because I was a bit out of sorts doing stuff here and there, and I've had nasal allergy stuff going on for a few days now, so it's been driving me a bit mad. So I've sort of been more in the mood for doing a bit of filming in between the whole, sneezing business. I've had to stop recording, go off and do some sneezing, come back again quite a number of times. So it doesn't actually make good TV, but it's okay for recording your voice. So let me know what you think. And I think that's everything for the moment. So I will come back again soon and let you know what I've been working on, and again update you on my progress. So I wish you a wonderful rest of the week and happy stitching, guys. I'll see you soon.